Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on something that is absolutely critical to broadcasting, but you pretty much never see it. We're talking about the silent gatekeepers that stop our airwaves from becoming a total, chaotic mess, RF filters. So let's get into how they work. Now, just so you know, this is part 19 of our big 40-part series on modern broadcast transmission. Today's focus is all about RF filtering and harmonic suppression. I know it sounds super technical, but trust me, it's the hidden magic that lets you actually listen to your favorite station without a bunch of static and noise.
So, here's the game plan. First, we're going to uncover the transmitter's dirty little secret. Then, we'll meet the unsung hero that cleans up the mess. After that, we'll check out the different tools in the filter toolkit. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with why this is so important for keeping our signals crystal clear.
All right, let's start with the core problem. You see, to get a signal from a radio station all the way to your car, you need a ton of power. But all that power, well, it comes with a pretty nasty side effect, a kind of dirty secret.
I mean, really think about it. In any big city, the air is just packed with signals, right? But you can tune in to 98.7 FM without hearing the station on 99.1 bleeding all over it. That clean separation isn't some happy accident. Oh no, it's a constant battle against a hidden enemy.
And here is the villain of our story, harmonics. These things are just an unavoidable part of making a signal powerful. So if a station is broadcasting at, say, 100 megahertz, its own gear is also spitting out unwanted noise at 200 megahertz, 300 megahertz, 400, and so on.
You know, the best way to think about this is like signal pollution. If you just let it go, this harmonic pollution would spill all over the place, jamming up frequencies for other stations, for emergency services, even for airplanes. It would be a complete disaster. And that's why the FCC has these incredibly strict rules. This number here, negative 80 decibels, it means that any harmonic noise has to be squashed down to 100 millionth of the main signal's power. That is an unbelievably tiny amount. So how on earth do you do that? Well, you do it with our unsung hero, the RF filter. This little piece of hardware is the essential gatekeeper, standing right between that powerful transmitter and the antenna, making sure only the right signal actually makes it out into the world. I love this analogy. The RF filter is basically a bouncer at a super exclusive club. It's got a list. The main broadcast frequency? Yep, you're on the list, come on in. All those harmonic troublemakers trying to crash the party? Sorry, you're not getting past the velvet rope. But this creates a massive headache for engineers. They're stuck in this dilemma. On one hand, they need the filter to be totally transparent to the good signal, letting it pass through without losing power. But on the other hand, it has to be a brick wall to all the bad signals. I mean, even a tiny half a decibel of loss means 11% of your power is just being burned off as useless heat. It is a crazy high-stakes balancing act. And of course, not all filters are built the same. Engineers have a whole toolbox of different types, and picking the right one is absolutely key. So let's look at three of the main ones. Coaxial filters? Those are the workhorses for high-power FM and TV. But for situations that demand extreme precision, like when a bunch of stations all share one antenna, you gotta bring in the big guns, the cavity filter. They are incredibly picky, but they're also big and expensive. Then, for lower power situations, you've got your lumped element filters, which are nice and compact and get the job done without breaking the bank.
And this really gets to the heart of it. There's a quote from the source material that just nails it. It says that filter design is all about balancing these competing requirements. See, it's not just about stopping harmonics, it's this complicated puzzle of efficiency, power handling, and getting the right bandwidth. Okay, so let's tie this all together. Let's talk about why this invisible component is just so incredibly important for the clear signals that we all just take for granted every single day. Because the filter's job doesn't actually stop with harmonics. Nope, it's also cleaning up other kinds of signal gunk. You've got spurious emissions. Think of those as just random stray signals from the electronics. And then there's intermodulation, and that stuff is nasty. It's interference that gets created when the signals from two different transmitters literally smash into each other and mix. And what's the end result of all this filtering, all this hard work? Well, it means the station is following the law, for one. It means our very crowded airwaves are being used as efficiently as possible. And most importantly for you and me, it means we get that clean, interference-free experience every single time we tune in. So I'll leave you with this.
The next time you're cruising down the road, flipping through radio stations, or settling in to watch TV, just take a second to think about all the invisible engineering making it happen. Will you think about that unsung hero, that RF gatekeeper that's making it all possible? Thanks so much for tuning in.